All right, Hannah. So I have been waiting to tell this story on the podcast for, I hear a train. I'm just going to ignore the train.
That's fine.
Since July, and we have not recorded really in like 3 months, minus one episode. We didn't even have an intro for, so
Yes.
it's finally time. I'm ready. And you've heard a little bit about it just because I couldn't keep it to myself in general. But today I'd like to discuss a PSA on how you can fly when you don't have a driver's license or a passport. Because sure did have to do that, Hannah.
Yes.
Sure did have to do that. I took a trip, as most people do, visit some friends. I, for some reason, thought it would be a good idea to fly to LA, have a 6-hour layover, go to the beach with one of my friends who lives out there, and then fly to Salt Lake City to visit another friend of mine. And that first day was a mess. I had an early flight. I barely slept. Left at 6 a.m. to go to the airport. I fell asleep on my flight the whole way. Gotta love ZQL. Apparently there was an altercation on the plane while I was asleep, because as I was exiting the plane, I was all the way in the back. I hear a flight attendant talking to the pilot and a police officer saying, "You can ban her from your airline if you want to." And I went, uh-oh, that's not good. Then I get off the plane into the little tarmac little tunnel that you get to the airport, and there were 6 police officers standing with a woman in handcuffs. And I was like, uh-oh. And I was just so thrown off. My friend picked me up, Starbucks in hand. Always a great time. Went to the beach, hung out in Venice. That was an experience. Then I got back to the airport, was waiting for my flight, delayed more. So I had to wait an extra 2 hours. It was storms, was what was keeping us down. The flight was supposed to come from Las Vegas, had a bunch of storms. Finally got in, pilot's like, "It's gonna be a rough ride." It's gonna be a rough ride. The flight's only an hour and, I don't know, 20 minutes. A good, easy flight. As we were descending, people were exclaiming, the guy next to me just death gripped the front of his seat in front of him for the whole 15 minutes on the way down. It was not that bad. You would have had a hard time, Hannah.
Yeah.
It would have been rough for you.
Yes.
I was okay. I just was I just want to land. Because at this point, when I've landed, I've now been in 3 time zones on this day.
Yes.
It's almost been 20 hours total. So we finally land, get to Salt Lake City. Friend comes and picks me up from the airport. It's 100 degrees. I'm dying. And as we're get off the highway and get on a main road, his car just breaks down in the middle of the road.
Oh, God.
Just shuts down fully. And he's like, "Let me get my glove, because this has happened before." And I was like, what? Apparently his battery, because we had to go to a mechanic the next day, his battery wasn't installed properly at Costco. So watch out if you're getting batteries installed at Costco. They used the wrong fixtures or something. It was an easy fix, but I had to get the car started again. And that was just the first day. Second day, all's good. We went out to a bar, had a lovely time. For some reason, I thought it would be a good idea. I was wearing a dress, and the only purse I brought was clashing with my dress. It had patterns on it. I had a striped purse, and I was like, well, I can't wear clashing styles. So why don't I just give all my identification to my friend to put in his pocket? Come the next day, my driver's license has disappeared. It's just gone. Look, I went back to the bar, searched the house. It's just gone. So I'm like, great. Don't have a driver's license. And now, Hannah, I have never flown without my passport. Doesn't matter if it's domestic. I always bring it because I get so anxious traveling, especially flying. I get so anxious about arriving late and missing my flight, about not having the right things and missing my flight. So just to make me feel better, I always bring my passport. And this time, Hannah, this one time when I needed it, I was like, you know what? This is the time. I don't need to bring my passport. My driver's license is fine. And you know what? I will never fly without it again.
So you're never going to not take a passport.
I'm never going to not take it because the one time I didn't have it is the one time I really would have needed it. So I'm like, cool. Looking things up. can I fly without a driver's license? I went online and they were like, yeah, if you have 2 IDs with your name and a photo identification of yourself, you should be able to fly. The next day, go to float down a river. The river was like ice cold. My feet were freezing. My butt was freezing. And I brought my waterproof phone case with me. I was like, yeah, never let me down before, until it did. Get out of the river 2 hours later, and my waterproof phone case is just full of water. And I was like, fuck. My first thought was, fuck. I was like, we gotta drive 2 hours. It was like a 2-hour drive there. And I'm like, all I want to do is put my phone in rice. By the time we got back, it was already turning off. So I put it in rice overnight, and I am having panicking. I was sobbing. It's I'm never gonna go home. It's
stuck in Utah.
This is my worst nightmare. I'm stuck with the Mormons.
In the Mormon country.
My worst nightmare.
If we have any Mormon listeners, we're sorry.
I'm sorry, and no offense to you. I had a lovely time otherwise. I had some really good calamari, surprisingly. Some of the best calamari I've ever had was in Salt Lake City. And that's saying something, considering I've had calamari both on the West Coast and the East Coast, and in other countries. And it was damn good calamari. Mad respect to their calamari game. Besides the point, though, yeah, I was having a horrible time. So the next morning, print out some stuff, get to the airport. My phone did turn on, thankfully, because I was like, what the fuck do I do? If I don't have a phone, you drop me off the airport, I can't get in. If I don't have the ID, how am I supposed to let you know? Thankfully, my phone turned on in the morning. The rice did its trick. I was like, thank God. Either way, I printed out my boarding passes just in case, because I was like, I don't want to deal with this if it decides to shut off at the airport. So I get dropped off. I go to the TSA officer, and I'm just like, so I don't have my driver's license. I was like, what will you accept? Hannah, what do you think they allowed as identification? 2 forms of identification.
I'm going to guess, because I know you probably would have had it on you, some sort of school ID.
My Michigan State University student ID and my debit card. And they were like, cool. So what happens, Hannah? The TSA man calls on the radio, and he's like, I need a 204 or whatever. Calls a code in, and I'm standing there. So then a lovely TSA agent collects me, takes me through security. I get to skip the line, and then proceeds to search through every single thing that I own, swabbing all of my shoes, all of my belongings, extensively thorough check. Now, Hannah, it's a good thing I decided not to buy any edibles when I was in California, because although they're legal in both California and Michigan, they certainly are not legal in Utah, and that would have been bad. However, I would have thrown them out. I was going to be searched anyway. I wouldn't have had them. I don't want to do anything illegal. For those people out there.
Yes.
Don't do illegal drugs.
Don't do drugs, kids.
Wink. Wink. Legal drugs. In legal states.
Yes.
Whatever you want to do,
However you'd like to spend your time.
Mm-hmm. So it took me so thoroughly swabbed everything I owned. And I was like, this is great. I was going to pull out all my toiletries and all my things. Thankfully, he did not thoroughly pull out every single item. He just opened up every single my bag and my suitcase, and he had to take out every single pair of shoes, and he was judging me for the amount of shoes that I brought, because I love shoes and I have a hard time matching outfits. So I had brought a pair of boot heels and a pair of sandals and a pair of tennis shoes and a pair of boots, because you gotta have options. And he was like, sorry, I have to swab all of your shoes. And I was like, I'm sorry, I have too many shoes for you, sir. But anyway, so then I made it home. I eventually did get home. I cried the entire way home. I could not stop crying. I was tearing up constantly. I had to keep wiping my eyes. I go to the bathroom while I'm in the airport waiting, and then while I was driving home. And then my phone died 2 days later. I had to get a new phone. And so I was out of the phone for 3 days. But then we're good. So I got a new phone. I made it through security. And now I know what to do in that circumstance. So I have at the very least, that anxiety of the what happens, what if, I have an answer to now. And just for all of you out there,
yes.
There's an answer.
Carry a school ID around.
Carry a school ID and anything with your name on it. And they will not accept a photocopy of your passport or your driver's license. I learned that too. They were like, we won't accept
That makes
this.
sense.
And I was like, I get it.
Yeah.
I was like, just gotta try what you can. I was like, I don't know what to bring. I don't know what they're going to accept. But I was allowed to fly. But they will thoroughly search you for drugs and swab all of your belongings and shoes.
Yes.
Because, a shoe bomber.
Don't want to be a shoe bomber.
Nope.
Melissa fits the mold of a shoe bomber.
Sure do.
She loves shoes, so.
I do love shoes.
Lots of places to put a bomb. We're going to get flagged by the TSA. We're going to be able to fly again. Welcome. This is Research, Rank, Repeat. My name is Hannah.
My name is Alyssa.
And it's been a minute.
It has. Hello. We're not sorry for not keeping our schedule.
Mm-mm.
Hannah, would you like to describe what happened?
Yeah.
Just a gist of what happened.
So, we were going to take a month off in the summer because last year it got really busy and we were traveling and we decided ahead of time that we were going to take a month off. That was planned, and we had warned everyone about that. We had said we were taking a month off.
And it was great.
It was great.
Worked out well, reinvigorated us, got right back to our weekly schedule.
Yeah. We started this podcast at the beginning of COVID when we literally couldn't leave the house.
Couldn't do anything.
We had nothing to do.
Couldn't spend time with our friends.
Yeah, we had a lot of time. We weren't traveling, any of that. Turns out when you can travel again, when you can do things, it is hard to maintain a podcast that releases every week.
Sure thing. And we've been talking about changing our schedule next year, like in June, May. I think we started talking about like, hey, we need to start thinking about how are going to change our schedule moving forward, because we're like, it's not sustainable.
Yes. Anyways, so we, took the month, and then we took another month, and then we took another month.
Although, to be fair, there was extenuating circumstances.
Yes.
There's some COVID, some health issues.
We had family health issues.
Traveling.
Work. I moved.
Yeah, work stuff.
Yeah. So a lot of stuff going on. Life happens.
And we got really burned out.
Yes, we were very burned out. Not just the podcast, but because the world sucks.
Yeah. Hannah and I had this grandiose idea that we could accomplish 2 incredibly large-scale podcast things.
Projects, yeah.
Projects. One would include a Pixar-level movie selection, which we thought we could watch all of them in like 2 months.
Yes.
Which that was a surprise. Did not happen.
Didn't work.
That's still going to come out, but it's going to be next year. Probably maybe January or February, but we won't give any specifics because we still are figuring that out. The other one was, we had talked about doing a book-related podcast. Again, 13 books.
Yes.
And we, again, thought that we could have that done by October. And a spoiler, we sure didn't.
We didn't do any of it.
Sure didn't do any of that.
We get very overambitious, and sometimes we think we can do more than we can.
Yes. Like Nemo.
Yes.
Sometimes you think you can do these things, but you just can't,
Nemo. Fuck you. I think that was the line from the movie.
I think so.
Anyways, so we have decided for the rest of this year, we are going to release some episodes. I'm not going to say one every 2 weeks because it might not.
It might not be.
But we do have episodes planned till the end of the year.
Yep.
And then we're also going to start next year, probably do 2 a month.
2 a month, roughly.
Roughly 2 a month.
We will probably still have, like, for instance, when they release a Pixar movie, or when any of our new movies come out that fit, like Fast and the Furious.
Family.
We'll do our mini episodes. Those are pretty easy to do because it's really a low effort in terms of, like, we don't have to do a lot of prep work for those. We just have to watch the movie, take some notes, and record a shorter episode. So those will probably come out whenever, like, the movies or related things come out.
Nice.
But I'm roughly going to do 2 a month. And they might not always be on Wednesdays.
Nope.
They might be on different days of the week. We're not going to commit to specifically Wednesday anymore. Maybe still just out of habit. They'll probably come out middle of the week, but
Yeah, and we discussed, we both still enjoy it enough to not just give up on it.
Right. We do enjoy it, but we both got way too burnt out.
Yes.
We needed like a long break from it.
But anyways, we thought what better way to come back
In November.
in the middle of November than to release our Songs of the Summer.
Yeah,
episode.
Songs of Summer, that ended in September. September 10th.
It said Wake Me Up When September Ends, and we waited an extra month and a half. But
2 months.
2 months.
We waited it's 2 months late,
Yes.
which is fine. This is something we liked doing last year.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun for us, and we like the music episodes. I like songs, and I like summer.
Yeah, who doesn't?
So we said, fuck it. So what if it's not September? Oh my god, that was a aggressive crack.
Pop in my hip. Just in
Hip
case you
popping.
didn't know.
Old geezer.
Yeah, old as shit.
And we were like, fuck it. It's November. We still want to release this episode. We still want to do it. I did all the work. I made a playlist with 74 songs in it. We're going to do it.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Yeah. Similar to last year, we're doing top 5 best, top 5 worst. I will say this year it was a lot harder to find worst songs.
Yeah. I think last year had 62 songs or 60 something. I could have looked it up, but I didn't do that. This year we have 74 songs, which is more than last year.
Want to kind of refresh for people how we picked the song, how the song process worked? Because
so,
I don't know if people remember from last year.
Yeah, so I followed the same process as last year. So initially what we had planned to do was to go through, the Billboard has a Songs of Summer list that starts in, I believe, the end of May and runs through early September. And when we did that last year, it gave us 20 songs, 22 songs. The whole list never changed the entire summer. There were 2 or 3 new entries. So to add more songs to that, we looked at the Billboard Hot 100 and we added the top 30 songs of those weeks that the Songs of Summer ran. So that's the background. We also last year provided a background about Billboard and the Hot 100 list and things like that. And since we already did that, I'm not going to do it again because what's the point?
If you're curious, you can go listen to it.
You can go listen to the episode. It's called Songs of Summer. Applebee's has rats.
Yes.
Because of fancy like Applebee's.
So we found a hole in our Cobb salad.
We sure did. But I do have some interesting things that I found just going through the list. So, Hannah, would you believe it if I said that 3 songs that were on our list last year are now still on the Songs of Summer list of this year?
I know Stay.
Stay, which was one of your top songs.
Yes.
By Justin Bieber.
I don't remember the other 2.
Bad Habits, Ed Sheeran, was on the list last year. And Heat Waves by the Glass Animals.
Yes.
So these 3 songs just stayed on the list for a whole year, in the whole summer. I just automatically discounted those 3 because I was like, well, that's a song
I did too.
2021 summer. So there were very specific artists who dominated this list. Of the 74 songs, there were 9 songs from a Drake album, specifically just Drake. All but 2 of those were only on the list for 1 week and then immediately left. Drake was also featured on several collaborations as well, so he had upwards of 10 plus songs on this list. Beyonce had 7 songs off her new album appear on this list, and then Bad Bunny had 5 songs from his album appear on this list. And so that was interesting in that Beyonce was the only American artist who had a dominant presence, because Drake is technically Canadian.
Right.
I mean, not technically, he is Canadian.
He is Canadian.
But, I think North American artists Canada and US are pretty, you wouldn't necessarily be oh, international artist Drake.
When you think international, you think more. For some reason, Canada never seems like international because it's so, entwined in American.
I should look this up before I claim that, but Bad Bunny, I believe, although technically I guess Bad Bunny is Puerto Rican, which is technically a US territory. But I should double check that before I claim that he is Puerto Rican. I'm almost positive, but Puerto Rican rapper. Okay. He was the most Spotify streamed artist 2020, 2021, and 2022, making him incredibly popular in the United States and internationally, especially as he is a Spanish singer. Interestingly enough, there's no Rina Sawayama on this list, even though she released an album and had a song that came out in the summertime. Shed a Tear.
Also Fletcher.
And Fletcher, I know.
Okay.
Fletcher also released a great album as well.
Yes.
Lizzo also only had 1 song that charted, which was shocking to me during the summer as she released an album as well. And we also got a slew of songs that had released many years ago, upwards of almost 30 years ago. One being remixes with Elton John. Yes. Both Dua Lipa and Britney Spears had re-releases of his past songs featuring them. We had a weird instance where a song that charted this summer, Running Up That Hill, A Deal with God by Kate Bush, was released in 1985. Debuted at number 30 on the Billboard Hot 100 in the United States, and then in 2022, it debuted at number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100, and it stayed on the charts for weeks and weeks and weeks.
I would have to imagine that's because of Stranger Things.
Yes, so this was popularized by the show Stranger Things. Yes. It was used in both groupings of the season. Yeah. I mean, it was a huge song. It played everywhere, constantly, but I thought it was very, very interesting that a song that had charted better in 2022 than it had in the year it was released.
That's kind of cool, though. Yeah. That, like, music will come back like that.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I didn't really do any research to see, like, how often that happens.
Right.
I think that happened with, like, Bohemian Rhapsody.
Right.
I think that's happened with a few songs here and there. But it is really interesting. Yeah. Like, culture, like, TV, movie culture. Yeah. How that can impact music industry. But yeah, that's my little bit of background that I had.
The one thing I wanted to say, there was, like, I was kind of happily or pleasantly surprised with the mix of music we got. Yeah. Granted, there was a lot of, like, certain artists, and that's, like, obnoxious to me. Right. But there were some songs I wasn't expecting to be, like, hits that were kind of, like, cool to see. Yeah. I don't think there was that many bad songs. I had a lot harder time picking good songs than I did finding bad songs.
I did as well.
And there wasn't a ton of country.
Not a ton, thankfully.
So
that's a win.
Yeah. But yeah, I think overall I was happy with the mix of songs we got.
Yeah, I would agree.
All right. Okay. I think we should start worst.
I think so. That's how we started last time. I think first is worst. I think that's the way to go.
So my number 5 worst, it's called 5'9". It's by Alyssa's favorite country artist, Tyler Hubbard, who's a Florida Georgia Line.
Oh, that's why he sounded shitty.
Alyssa loves the nasal of Florida Georgia Line.
Oh, I hate it.
Look, I like country music. Unfortunately, this batch of country music sucked. This song, it's just, like, too twangy, and it's, like, too much for me, and the lyrics were just, like, annoying.
You know, that song did not make my list. Okay. It was, like, number 6.
Okay.
It was a consideration. Yes. I certainly considered it. I was wondering why I hated the sound so much.
That would be why.
I'd say this is a controversial pick for me. Number 5, I have Bad Habit by Steve Lacy. I'd like to preface by saying that I do not think this is a bad song. I just do not like it. I don't know what it is. It's so whiny, but in a bad way. It's not a pop punk whiny that works for me. This is just like, I don't know, I hear this song and I just feel unhappy. And I know this is like a popular song. Like, a lot of people really like this song. So I don't think it's, like, in terms of songwriting and production, I don't think it's bad. I just personally grates my ears.
It's like a preference thing.
It's a preference thing, yeah.
Yeah, because that song didn't really do much for me, but I didn't hate it. I just kind of, it was a mid-pack song for me. Number 4. The song is called You Proof by Morgan Wallen. It's the same thing as you. I don't hate it. I don't think it was the worst song, but I just think it's, like, annoying, and, like, lyrically it's very, like, basic. Like, he's basically comparing a girl to You Proof, like, proof of whiskey. And I'm like, it just feels like a man thing, and I just don't understand it.
But, you know, isn't that what all, like, bro country is just drinking with the boys,
hence
hunting,
why it's on my list.
Fishing, women.
Yes. Hence why it's
introduce you to my mama.
Yes.
Yeah. Not on my list as well, but I certainly did not enjoy it. All right. And number 4, I have another one. Hannah, why does DJ Khaled have to come back every year to ruin my day? Ruin my day. The song is Staying Alive, DJ Khaled, Drake, and Lil Baby. It's just not, it's like a play on the Staying Alive by the Bee Gees, but it's just, like, not good. Drake is fine. Drake is mid, as the kids would say these days. Lil Baby I don't care for. No. He's fine. Whatever. I just don't like DJ Khaled as a producer, as an artist. I don't want to have to hear another one. We the Best Music, DJ Khaled. It's just, I'm spiteful.
Yeah.
I just don't want to listen to it.
I get it. Hotter Than a Hoochie Coochie.
Hotter Than a Hoochie Coochie.
This is Like I Love Country Music by Kane Brown. Mm-hmm. I think that line is all I need to say. The tempo makes me really uncomfortable. It's a really weird tempo.
It's like
too slow but too fast.
It's like a good Garth Brooks song, but like if you accidentally fell down the stairs while producing it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's really weird tempo, and it made me really uncomfortable the first time I heard it.
Yeah, that song almost made my list.
It's like too slow but too fast.
It was a contender for sure.
I think that line specifically made me want to throw up.
Yeah.
But also, like, the tempo just kept, like, messing with me.
Would it surprise you that only one country song?
I know, I thought you'd have more country. I just really wasn't feeling the country music.
Yeah, I just had a couple songs I liked worse that, like, just made me go, eh. So. Number 3, I have Super Gremlin by Kodak Black. I hate any song that uses the high-pitched chipmunk-esque voice like Lonely by Akon. And the chorus is all that, including a line where Kodak Black calls someone a pussy-ass bitch, and that being the chorus. And not used in any way that's warranted or like hits right. You can use those words if you want. This is not that. And I could not listen to the song all the way through. Every time I heard it, I had to skip. And I was like, immediately, first time I heard it, I was like, this is going on the worst list somewhere. I don't know where.
That was like, almost made my list, but didn't. You know who did make it, though? God did, by DJ Khaled and like a million people. I'm not going to list
There's
them
like
all.
8 people on this song.
It's like John Legend, Lil Wayne, Jay-Z. I think it's Rick Ross was on there. Like, all this stuff. I think the song would be good if DJ Khaled wasn't in it.
It's 8 minutes long.
It's 8 minutes long. As soon as I heard DJ Khaled's voice, it ruins the song for me.
You know why this song didn't end up on my list? Because I really liked the Jay-Z lyric.
Okay.
I liked the Jay-Z part.
He saved it.
The only reason it wasn't on here.
See, if I think if DJ Khaled wasn't on this song, I'd like it more. But he ruined it.
As he does with most songs.
Pretty much everything.
Ugh. God damn, he needs to go away. He was on the worst list last year, too.
Yeah.
Cash in, cash out. Cash in, cash out. Cash out, cash out. Cash out, cash out. That is the chorus. The song is by Pharrell Williams featuring 21 Savage and who else is on it? Tyler, the Creator. I cannot stand this hook. Pharrell, what are you doing? I think Pharrell is a perfectly fine musician. He's made good songs, but this is bad. That you cannot have a chorus like that. Come on. Get your shit together, Pharrell.
You know when you, like in Mean Girls, when the CD player gets stuck? And it just, that's what it reminds me of.
Yes.
Yes. That song also almost made my list.
Oh, this song bothered me so much.
Okay. Taking the number 1 spot. Alyssa said to me, like 2 weeks ago, we were talking about the list briefly, and I said, we were talking about the country music, and I said, there's one song I absolutely hated. I turned it off. Alyssa said, there was one song I liked. And I said, watch it be the song I hated. I don't know if I ever said that my number 1 song was She Had Me at Carolina by Cole Swindell. I don't think I ever said that.
You did not, but that's okay.
I'll cut that in.
We could cut it in.
I will say, the song's not bad. What I hated, I heard this song, and I said, this sounds just like Heads Carolina, Tails California, which is like a country song.
Yeah.
And then I was like, this is a play on that. I heard the song, I immediately just said no. I shut it off and I turned on the original song because I love the original song so much.
The problem is I don't have the context of knowing the original.
That's why it bothered me so much, is because I love the original and this song just felt like such a ripoff. I will say, if I hadn't heard the original, this song actually probably would have been like the best country song because I don't think it's that like bro country annoying.
Yes, this is not on my best list by any means, but it certainly was the only country song when I was listening to this list that I went, you know what?
Yeah.
I would be okay hearing this.
Because it's not too annoying.
If someone played this on their playlist at a party, I could listen to it and I wouldn't be upset.
I think my love for the original and then not being disappointed, that's what made me annoyed.
That's fair.
Yes.
I got it. I understand. You don't have to write a whole song about how you want to fuck somebody and that you have to marry them to do that. The song is Take My Name by Parmley?
Yeah, I think it's Parmley.
look, I don't have a problem with people who, it's very important to them that they get married, and, that's part of their, like, their life, and that's cool and all, but the whole song is just him being like, everyone says we're going too fast, but I want you to take my name and be mine.
Yeah.
And it basically is just like, we're young and in love.
Yeah.
But we can't be together till we get married, so let's do it as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to listen to this.
Fair.
The lyrics are just annoying. I just don't, it's just like the kind of country I don't like listening to.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I can listen to the fun country, It's this, like, the serious, like, ugh. I don't know. Anyway, yes. It was my least favorite song.
Yes.
It made me go ick the first time I heard it. And I was like, ugh. Ugh.
Anyways, moving on to best.
Moving on to best.
Which was hard.
Do you have any honorable mentions at all?
I would like to honorable mention Running Up That Hill.
Okay.
Because it was hard for me because it's technically not a song of this summer. It is, yep. But it's not. I would also like to shout out, because I didn't put either on there, both Elton John remixes.
Yeah, I had a similar thing where Running Up the Hill, I listened to a lot this summer. But again, it wasn't like, I didn't feel like it was a song of this summer. Same with Woman by Doja Cat and That's What I Want by Lil Nas X. They're both on this list.
Yes, that's
both songs that I love. But like Lil Nas X album came out like last fall, and Doja Cat's album came out in the winter. So like I already been listening to these songs for months and months and months.
Yes.
So yes, for a similar reason.
Okay. All right, my number 5, which is Vegas by Doja Cat. It was on the motion picture soundtrack for Elvis, the movie that came out. I just think it's like a really cool idea and a really cool mix. Like to use like Hound Dog by Elvis and like mix it in, like make it in like a rap song is really cool. And I just think like her like lyricism and like her like lines flowed really well. Yeah. And it was just like fun to listen to.
Yeah. And plus I like that the backing is actually the original version of that song before Elvis sang it.
Right.
Yeah, which I think is cool too.
Yeah.
This was a song I liked but did not make my list. Before I do my number 5, I actually do have like an actual Song of Summer honorable mention. That being As It Was by Harry Styles. There was a good 3 weeks where this song was just constantly in my head. However, I don't think it like emulates summer to me. But I had like one brief moment of obsession and then it went away. So I didn't feel like I could encompass my summer with it. So take that for what you will. Okay. My number 5 song that beat out Harry Styles is Mi Porto Bonito by Bad Bunny featuring Chencho Corleone. I probably butchered the name. Apologies. This is like such a great dance song. Like this is the song you want to move to. I heard this song several times like throughout the summer just independent of this list, and it's just like it's a bop. It's got I want to move to it. I want to jam to it. I totally understand why he's like the most streamed artist for 3 years straight, because like he makes good music.
I really wish his music was coming out when we were in college, because that would have been really fun to dance to at like bars and stuff. Number 4. The song's called Alone by Rod Wave, which I had never heard of the artist before. I just think the voice is really cool, and it's like super raspy. It's almost like a rock sound voice, but it's like a rapper, so it's pretty cool, and I just like really like the song. I just thought it like captured me.
Yeah, I also really liked the song. It didn't make my list, but it definitely was a song that I really liked and I enjoyed listening to.
Yeah.
Number 4, I have Sunroof by Nikki Yor. This is also an artist that I'd never heard of before. And this is like, I feel like this is the alternative hit of the summer. That is like what I want to play when I'm driving in my car, just kind of vibing. It's kind of mellow. It's fun, but it's not too upbeat. It's kind of more like low key. The first time I heard it was not on this list. It was just on the radio or on a Spotify playlist. Yep. And I was like, yeah, I can dig this. Like, this is something that I would listen to independently, just on my own.
Yeah, that song almost made my list. I agree. Okay, number 3 is Bad Decisions. It's Benny Blanco with BTS and Snoop Dogg. It's the combo I didn't know I needed, but, like, I'm totally about it. Like, something is so amusing to me about BTS and Snoop Dogg on a song together.
But it works.
Like, it works. And I, like, I don't know. I think BTS's music is always really catchy. And they had, I had them on last year's list. I think I had Butter.
Butter, yeah.
I think it was on my top 5. They have really catchy songs, but I think like adding other artists, like having Snoop Dogg on a track with them is like kind of genius. Mm-hmm. And it just worked really well. And it was like almost the unexpectedness of it. When I heard the song and I was like, is that Snoop Dogg with BTS? Like it caught me off guard, but in a good way.
Yeah. I really liked that song. It didn't make my list, but I enjoyed it. And
we're having like a good...
Yeah.
Like I don't...
We have not had one song in common.
I think we probably will have one.
I think we might have one song in common. Hopefully. Yes. I think we'll have one.
Yes.
And only one.
Yes.
Number 3, I have I Like You, a Happier Song by Post Malone featuring Doja Cat. This is also another song that I just heard on a playlist. And I've always really liked Post Malone. Mm-hmm. I think I had him on my list last year too, if I'm remembering correctly. He's not an artist that I'm like, wow, I love Post Malone. Let me go to his concerts. I'm like not a Post Malone fangirl, but I'm always very pleasantly surprised every time I hear it at like new songs of his, and I'm like, yeah, I can jam to this. Like this is another one that's like a good, like if I'm just kind of doing something and like have it in the background while I'm cooking or like while I'm driving. And Doja Cat's good on it. I like the combination. Works well.
Yeah, I agree. I heard the song too and I liked it. It just like there were so many good songs that it didn't make my list. All right, this song. Okay, number 2 is As It Was by Harry Styles. It was interesting because you said the reason you didn't add it is because you didn't feel like it was a summer song.
Yeah.
I literally wrote down such a summer song. It's just like pure fun and
My
happiness.
summer song, yeah.
Like to me, the idea of a summer song to me, because everyone has their different definition, right? But to me, it's like a song that I would play in the car and like imagine myself like driving anywhere in the car. And I've been listening to this song throughout the summer and it's still like on a lot of my playlists. I just think it's like such a fun beat. And I agree with you. It's kind of one of those addictive songs where you listen and then you kind of pause from it. I get what you mean by that, but I also just felt like, to me, it like embodied a summer song. So I went with it.
It's just fair.
And I love Harry.
Harry's great. The album was great. I liked the album.
It was a good album.
This is the song, however, that took over As It Was. Like Beyonce, I too am in the mood to fuck something up. Number 2 is Cuff It by Beyonce. I know that Break My Soul was like the main single from her new album. However, when the album came out and I did a run through, this is the song that I was like, wow, I like this song a lot. It's so catchy. I feel like a lot of artists are leaning into disco heavily, which I'm all for because they're doing a lot of good stuff with it. It just like hits well. Beyonce sounds really good on it. The mix is really good. It just has a lot of really, really good elements. And again, it's another song that I can dance to, that I can, listen to this at a party, or I could listen to this cooking, or I could listen to this like doing stuff, cleaning. I could listen to it in a lot of different scenarios. And for me, that's like a song of summer. I got to have it in like all of my cycle of things that I would do in the summer. So
that's interesting because I replaced As It Was for Cuff It. You replaced Cuff It. You know what I mean? We had it flip-flopped. Yeah. So that's interesting.
All right. And I think we both have the same number 1 song, hopefully.
Yeah, we should.
We should.
Number 1 for both of us is About Damn Time by Lizzo.
It's about damn time.
It is. Lizzo's a queen.
In a minute, I'm going to need a cinnamon roll to help pump me up.
Yes.
Iconic.
Yes.
Iconic lyrics.
Lizzo just makes great music. Ugh. She makes hit after hit.
Which is why I was shocked. I was shocked that was the only song that made this entire summer list.
I've danced to it at a wedding this year.
I have continued to listen to this song past summer.
Yes.
Like, when I heard this song and started listening to it, I was like, this is my song of the summer.
Yeah.
Like, I made that assessment pretty early on. And this kind of came out, like, even a little before summer. It did. Like, in the spring. I listened to it everywhere.
It's just a good song.
It's a great song.
It's catchy. It's lyrically great.
It's got all of, like, Lizzo's quirks that she likes to throw in there.
Yeah.
Lizzo's great.
Yeah.
A true queen.
We love Lizzo.
We love Lizzo. And I was going to say, if we do not have that one song in common, we've done something wrong.
Yes.
Because literally that's the only song we have in common on both of our lists.
That's so weird, but yeah.
Yeah.
She deserves number 1.
She does. We had similar artists
we did.
On both lists.
We both had DJ Khaled.
We both had Doja Cat.
Yeah. Just different songs.
Just different songs.
My 5 worst. Number 5 was 5'9". You Proof, Like I Love Country Music, God Did, and She Had Me at Heads, Carolina. Best, number 5, I had Vegas, Alone, Bad Decisions, As It Was, About Damn Time.
For my worst, number 5, I had Bad Habit, then Staying Alive, Super Gremlin, Cash In, Cash Out, and Take My Name. For best, number 5, I had Mi Porto Bonito, Sunroof, I Like You, Cuff It, and About Damn Time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think overall it was a good mix.
Yeah. One, we had more songs than we had last year, which that makes it harder to have more. And honestly, like, I feel like it was a better mix than last year.
It was a better variety.
It felt
like last year a lot of the songs were very similar, except for a couple here and there. But this year I felt like there was a good mix of, like, different kinds of music.
Yeah.
But all good.
I am shocked about the songs that somehow stayed on the chart for a whole year.
Yeah.
A full year of heat waves?
Yeah.
No.
Again, because we mentioned this last time.
Do we think this is because of COVID?
Probably.
Like, is there an impact because of COVID?
Probably. I was going to say, though, the one thing I noticed, a lot of these songs I recognize because of TikTok.
TikTok, yeah.
Or Instagram.
I know we had talked about that.
Because Numb Little Bug, or whatever it's called. There was the song, like, Genji. It was like...
Glimpse of Us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of those songs I recognize because of TikTok.
And we talked about that last year.
Because that was the same thing.
Yeah, that there was a lot of influence from TikTok.
Right.
And,
I was like, oh, I know this song because of TikTok.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Right.
So it's interesting. I think it was a good mix. I think overall I enjoyed this group better than last year's.
I think I did too.
Like the mix, the variety.
I would agree.
Minus DJ Khaled.
Minus DJ Khaled.
But yeah, we will...
We'll be back in like 2 weeks.
Hopefully.
Roughly. We have plans, but we don't have a set date.
Yeah.
But we know what we're doing next.
Yes.
And it will come out maybe before November ends.
Yes.
But maybe not.
Maybe not. We're not going to make any promises. It's a real comfort to the soul.
Yeah. We don't have to feel like failures when we don't deliver.
Yes.
In a timely manner.
But yeah. We have our Instagram, Twitter... r3podcast@gmail.com is our email. I think that's it.
Yeah, if you want to tell us about your songs of summer in November, feel free to message us, let us know.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be back in a bit with another episode. See you then.
Bye.
Bye.
We would like to thank Joseph McDade for our intro music. He provides free music available for all kinds of creative use. The song that we used is called Sunrise Expedition, and you can find it and his other music on his website, josephmcdade.com. If you would like to reach us, you can email us at r3podcasts@gmail.com. That's R3, podcasts@gmail.com. Or you can find us on Instagram by searching Research Rank Repeat.